So we've just covered four findings that relate really to people's perceptions of churches, the brand of churches, perceptions of leaders, some of the generational differences. Now we're going to turn to four findings about what people expect from churches. And we'll tell you a little bit about this list of questions. We're showing you this on two slides, different ways that people say they would like to see churches show up for the good of their communities, churches and Christian nonprofits. And you can see here homeless services, companionship for the elderly, youth or children's clubs and events, counseling services were some of the top four. And it's very interesting just the ways, the whole list here of ways in which people want to see churches support their community. Just a quick note there on counseling services. I believe that after the coronavirus and all the quarantine and the social disruption that we've seen, political polarization, there's going to be a tsunami of mental health challenges and emotional support that people need. And so I believe this is a great indicator, even though younger people are less likely to say they want to see that from the church. I think this is a great indicator of ways in which we can show up to really support people in our communities, and there's going to be a huge need coming out of this whole season. The next slide I'll show you just quickly other things that are interesting to people, sort of access to healthcare services, refugee or immigrant services, prison or justice reform, and on and on and on. Just calling out sort of ways we're breaking these data out both by church and unchurched, as well as generational patterns. Just a quick note that the reason we're focusing so much on younger people as we sort of talk about and narrate these findings is that the church has a bigger gap. I think the chasm between the willingness of young people to attend church and being involved in the life of a Christian community is much harder. The church has some natural challenges in reaching and retaining millennials and Gen Z. We're not prepared for them, and so we want to make sure you're focused on that. But it doesn't mean by focusing on that in our data that we exclude any focus or any strategy or any prayerful support to boomers and elders and others. It's so important that the church is for all people, but we've tried to focus a little bit in on some of the generational patterns for that reason. So